If you discovered a magical fishing pole and it caused the ice shelf you were on to break and sent you adrift into the frigid sea, what would you do? In this video, we're going to be playing Rimworld on the dreaded sea ice, a snowy wasteland where nothing grows and few animals roam. Usually, the only type of people that survive up here are ambitious. But what if I told you there was another way? Say hello to Icecubone, a brave, super immune fisherman who is stranded on an iceberg in the northern sea. He's starting with practically nothing, but as luck would have it, he now possesses a mysterious fishing pole, one that catches everything except for fish. Can we endure against the relentless cold, or will we fail and become just another frozen chunk of ice? Oh, and before we begin, this video was inspired by Ambiguous Amphibians' Sea Ice series. It's one of my favorite Rimworld playthroughs, and it's the same series that inspired me to begin creating content here on YouTube. I've added a link below in case you want to check it out for yourselves. Lastly, if you want to skip the story in the beginning and get right into the challenge, then go ahead and jump to the timestamp on the screen now. Don't worry, I won't be offended. No, not at all. With that said, let's begin. In the blistering cold of the North Pole, few tribes survive, and fewer still are the individuals who can carve out an existence on their own. But that's exactly what Icecubone here has been doing. He has been living alone, sustaining himself on the gold of the frozen water. Fish. Bountiful, delicious fish. Since most tribes up north are bloodthirsty cannibals or advanced societies with indoor greenhouses, he never truly found a home. The village he was raised in was in the tundra farther south, and only over the past few years had he continued migrating north until he found a comfortable spot where the fish were plenty and the people were scarce. He left his tribe after his wife of 20 years had abandoned him for a younger warrior. Though he was outraged, he found it hard to blame her. His prime was far behind him now, and he hadn't been able to give her the children she desired. Perhaps in time he'd find it within himself to forgive her, or forgive himself. However, it wasn't until yesterday that his years of sulking vanished in an instant. He went out to do some scouting for a new fishing spot when he found a fresh patch of ice he hadn't seen before. The odd part was, it wasn't a recently frozen section of the sea. This area seemed to have been there for years. That's when he noticed a peculiar shape jutting from the snow. At first, he thought it was a tree sapling, but when he finally reached it, he learned that it was even more bizarre than that. It was a fishing pole, similar to the one he used. In fact, it had all the same distinguishing features of his pole too. The many-notched handle which he carved whenever he made a record-breaking catch, the tan and brown stains from years of wear, even the small smiley face he carved into it as a kid at the bottom of the pole. Everything was the exact same, but there was one thing that separated this pole from his own. It had a strange aura around it, like some highly transparent blanket. When he reached his hand into that mystical aura, a tingling surge rushed throughout his body. Eventually, he did force himself past that outer layer, and he grabbed hold of the fishing pole. It took a forceful tug to pry it free, but once he did, the ice beneath him crackled to life, and the ground shook violently. He tried to move back in the direction of his camp, but his body couldn't maneuver under the relentless quaking, and he was forced to kneel down and wait. An ear-splitting crack rang out over the icy wastes. The ocean splashed angrily around him. He could see small waves pouring over the nearest edges, but thankfully he was far enough away to avoid getting swept into the sea. A minute later, it was quiet again, with only choppy waves providing white noise in the background. Icecubone stood on shaky legs and looked in all directions. The ice shelf he was standing on had broken completely off from the mainland and was now about 100 yards from the nearest shoreline. There was one main problem. Icecubone could barely swim. He had never really learned to in his youth, and even as an adult, he was hardly able to tread water, and that was with all of his clothes off. He knew if he were to dive in now, the frigid water would claim him before he even got halfway to shore. What was worse, every passing second, he could feel the ice beneath him drifting further into the sea. There was no mistaking it. He was standing on an iceberg now. Then, he felt a strange warmth emitting from the mysterious fishing pole still in his hand. It was heating the inside of his body, like he had just drank a hot bowl of soup. He wasn't sure how, but he knew the pole was responsible for this entire mess. Or maybe it was just the gods punishing him for being such a coward when his wife had left him. Was he really that weak? He gave the pole a determined squeeze and squinted away the heartache coursing through his chest. And like magic, a solution popped into his mind. He could fish. Yes, that was the answer to his dilemma. The ocean provided him with everything he needed, even things he could never imagine. He didn't need his tent or any of the comforts of his former life. This would be his home now, and he would have everything he could ever want. For as long as he could fish, he could hope. Here our journey begins. We're stranded on an iceberg with practically nothing. All we have is the clothes on our back, some melee weapons, and a little bit of pemmican. There's a snow hare and an Arctic wolf, two unfortunate beasts that are stuck adrift with us. Other than that, there's only vast emptiness and frigid water. Now, let's take a moment to focus on our brave protagonist, Icecubone. That way you can appreciate him even more as a person. He's a super immune fisherman, so he gets a mood bonus whenever he's fishing. And the only thing he won't be catching is a cold. He does have some negative traits. He's a bit of a slob, but that's okay, because he's also a recluse, so there's no one to impress. Since he's an older guy, most of his baseline stats are average. He has a burning passion for melee combat, some construction and plant skill, which might be useful later. He's a natural with animals, and he's got some interest in learning. We'll start off by laying down some stockpile zones, a fishing zone, and we'll begin the hauling. Already we need to defend ourselves against the brutal nature, as the snow hare is going for our pemmican. This is not acceptable. We'll try to attack the hare while it's eating, and now they just keep missing each other. It is a smaller target, so I guess it makes a little bit of sense. And there we go. The vicious hare has been defeated. Great, we avoided any injuries and earned ourselves another meal. Luckily, we started in August, so it's a balmy 29 degrees Fahrenheit out. Our current gear grants us great protection down to -1 degrees, but that temperature will drastically drop as the weeks go on. We'll need to find a source of warmth or some way to build a shelter. There are several ice chunks lying around that could be carved into blocks, but we lack the knowledge to craft those yet. There he goes. Icecubone is casting his line out for the first time with the magical fishing pole. What a monumental moment. This process does take some time, so while we wait for that, let's talk for a moment about what makes this scenario so interesting. Normally, sea ice challenges are played with pawns who are cannibals, and rightfully so. There's rarely anything to eat up here, and eventually, the only thing you can eat are the people that wander in. But what if you're not a cannibal? What if you found another way? Enter ice fishing, a fantastic way to pass time and feed yourself. You could fish like normal and catch all the food you want, but I think that makes this a little too easy. So instead, we have a mysterious pole, one that catches items 100% of the time. But catching items all the time doesn't make this playthrough any easier. In fact, I assert that this challenge is in some ways harder than the standard one, and here's why. The items we catch can range from incredibly valuable to completely useless, and everything in between. Some items are cool to have, but they can shoot your wealth up in a hurry, and bring unwanted attention from raiders before you're ready. Besides that, there's nothing to do with most of the items you catch. You can't swim across the ocean to sell them, so unless one of those rare seafaring traders wanders in, you're pretty much stuck with expensive junk. There's also one thing that you shouldn't underestimate: time. Much like in real life, fishing takes a considerable amount of it, for what sometimes results in a useless item. But hey, let's be honest, do you have anything else better to do out here? But speaking of items, here's Icecubone about to catch his very first one. Let's go see what it is. And right on cue, the very first item we catch is completely useless. It's a newspaper, suspiciously titled Normal. We'll let Icecubone catch up on the local seafaring news, and then we'll just set it down and let it deteriorate. The next catch is much better. We got some wood. We need a few more of those and then we can start making a shelter. Our three priorities are shelter, food, and defense, and only the fishing gods control that. We're unfortunately going to have to sleep in the cold tonight, and probably the next few nights too. Our clothes will keep the cold at bay, but they're not in the best condition. It's our first cast of the morning, and we caught ourselves some pemmican. Great, breakfast. And we had a great day of fishing. We caught ourselves some devil strand cloth, gold bars, and even more food, including chocolate. I'm most excited about the canned meat from an unknown creature. Can't wait to see what that tastes like. Now nearing the end of the third day, the Arctic wolf is hunting us for food. Come on, Icecubone, show everyone how brave you really are. Oh boy, this is not going as well as I would hope. Alright, we have shattered our nose, and our right arm has got some bad bites. And there, it's done. Yeah, man, that was like that movie. What was it called? The Gray? With Liam Neeson. Remember that? Where he fights the wolves? It bit off our left second toe. We are now missing a toe. Our nose has been just chewed up and shattered, and our right arm is just bleeding from severe bites. It's a good thing we just caught that medicine too, otherwise this would be even worse. And somehow, despite us being on an iceberg, we have a visitor, a translator from a group called the Slicers. His name is Rad Ratty Amethyst. That's a pretty great name. I wonder if he's here to rescue us. He's an anxious, coward, delicate wimp. Wow, he is a genie, so some of those are just innate traits. And most importantly, he is a fisherman, so that one trait there offsets all the other ones in my book. I wish there was a way to bring Ratty into the group, but there's just no way for us to do that. They don't seem too interested in talking, so I guess we won't be getting help. But somehow, some way, there are those who are able to travel to this iceberg, and that brings us some hope. Day 4 has been a really good day for fishing. We caught some steel, components, a light SMG, and also this healer mech serum. It's pretty cool. Icecubone could technically use this now to fix either his nose or his missing toe, but I think we'll hang on to it for now. It might fetch a high price with any traders who pass by. And thanks to these recent catches, especially the serum, our wealth has shot up dramatically. And as a result, we're attracting some unwanted attention, like this raider from the Blight Wasters, Teddy Gamble, a couch potato genie. Wow, they're actually pretty good. If we were further along, I would definitely try to capture him, just for their intellectual stat alone. Now we are exposed out here quite a bit. There's really nothing we can take cover behind except maybe a few ice chunks, but even that's not much. We're going to have to surprise attack them. Well, as much as you can surprise someone out here. We need to close the distance as quickly as possible. We'll sneak up here as much as we can and wait for them to start crossing the water. And now's our chance. Charge, Icecubone. Charge like your life depends on it, man. Okay, he did turn. He is going north now. Was not expecting that. Well, we're too committed at this point. We'll just keep charging. He's going to hide behind some ice chunks. Oh, we got hit. It's a melee fight now. We hold the clear advantage here. At least, I thought we did. And finally, he's down. That guy was a lot tougher than I expected. Icecubone has certainly had better days. He's been shot, and his ribs and left tibia are both cracked. He's really just in a world of pain at the moment. And there goes Gamble. He's starting to crawl away. It's always so funny watching them crawl. Maybe we'll let him go. Actually, never mind. He has some really good gear. That spider silk parka sounds really cozy, actually. So we'll take that. We'll go ahead and strip you. You won't be needing these anymore. Hey, another visitor. Matronleo Llama of the Bani Coalition. Or is it Bani? I guess it would be Bani. The Bani Coalition. Hello, friend. Nah, don't worry about that guy. He was just leaving. Wow, this mech serum is actually worth 737 silver. I think for now we'll just trade him some of our garbage, and we'll buy all of their pemmican. We're going to need as much as that as we can get. Wonderful. Pleasure doing business with you, good sir. Oh, and there goes Gamble, and they're dead. Well, that takes care of that then. And a wanderer wants to join. A corporate spy named Flossie wants to join your colony. But we'll decide her fate in the next episode. I'm really liking this challenge so far, and I hope you are too. I want to wish a happy holidays to all of you wonderful people out there. You are the magic that powers my fishing pole. For now, I'm Lore Harbor, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Hello there. Do you like fishing? How about frigid temperatures and dangerous foes? If so, we have just the right place for you. Welcome back to the Iceberg. It's not the safest place to live, but our friend Icecubone has been doing just fine on his own. However, there's now a wanderer that wants to join. a corporate spy named Flossie. Will we let her in? Sure, why not? Let's see what they're all about. And now that Flossie has joined, she wants us to come up with a name for our faction. Our faction will be called the Frozen Fishers, and our settlement name will be Frostbiteberg. Yeah, that sounds cool enough. Or cold enough, I should say. And here comes Flossie now. She's a kind, fast learner who is incapable of violence. That's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's not horrible either. We can definitely work around that. She has good baseline stats in most things, but she's an obvious standout in the social skills. My god, it's insane. Hopefully she can work out here. Oh, and she's a high mate. I've never actually played with one of those colonists before, so this will be an interesting new experience. She's been here for less than a minute, and already she's taking care of Icecubone. Isn't that nice? And look, they're sleeping next to each other for warmth. Ah, how sweet. That tattoo she has on her face makes her look like an alien with many eyes. It's pretty cool, but kind of creepy too. Even out here, floating on the ice, you could still find a friend. There really is someone for everyone. Actually, more than friends. Icecubone told Flossie a story about helping the poor. And she became aroused. Oh, that's such a good pickup line. Talking about how you worked in the soup kitchen. It makes me nervous that they're falling for each other so quickly. I think many of us have been down this road before. When love flares up this fast, it usually doesn't end very well. And our luck keeps getting better. Some sheep have randomly joined us. I don't know what a flock of sheep are doing out here, but they'll act as some prolonged food at least. And since Flossie is a high mate, she has formed a psychic bond with Icecubone. That's neat. If one dies, the other will be driven into madness. So we'll need to make sure they both don't die. That won't be too hard, out here in such a bountiful and safe land. And already Flossie has begun to learn the art of fishing, and she caught a fedora. And Icecubone put the fedora on immediately, and I must say, he looks rather dapper. He went from a wild-looking man to a distinguished gentleman, with just a simple hat. Make sure you're taking notes, fellas. So some of the sheep have started wandering away, and we can't build a pen just yet, so we're going to have to put a few of them down. We can't have the food running out on us. There's one sheep left, and it fits right in. It drinks liquor like the rest of us. I'm actually tempted to give it a name, but I won't do so because I don't want to be getting attached. Everyone knows what happens when you name your pets in Rimworld. With Jugas nearing its end, the weather's going to plummet soon. There's enough steel and wood lying around to make a makeshift structure, so that's what we'll do. And gifts have rained down from the heavens. A cluster of cargo pods have crashed down nearby. They're full of watercress. It's a very random thing to crash down. It's not the most filling food, but another free meal. A group of traders from the Red Cliff settlement is approaching from the west. They seem to like it out there, so we'll send Flossie over to have a chat. We'll sell them some of our alcohol and clothes, and in return we'll buy a couple of packaged survival meals. Since they don't have enough money, we'll get shorted by 4 silver, but we'll just consider that a tip. They did swim all the way out here after all. And with our shelter being complete, we have now achieved 2 of our 3 primary goals. We have a good stockpile of food, and some shelter. It might be a cramped fishing hut, but it's our cramped fishing hut. We've also been catching all sorts of interesting condiments and other thingamabobs, like digestible resurrector nanites. Some might consider this wasteful, but I'm going to have them build a campfire. We're not needing the warmth at the moment, but a lot of our food is about to deteriorate. I hate using the wood like this, but we just can't afford to lose the food. Being that it's such a confined space, we're going to have to keep the door open, otherwise we will suffer from heat stroke while it's freezing outside, and that would just be embarrassing. Ah yes, the comforting glow of a cozy campfire. Never have I known such peace than when I was sheltered in the bosom of a warm fishing hut, with the very spark of life itself guarding the door. I'm going to give them a lot of meals to make. We'll have to see how much they can cook before the fire goes out. It's kind of like a survival challenge within another survival challenge. Oh, and fantastic news, marriage is on. These 2 lovebirds are moving very fast, and they're truly obsessed with each other. Their moods are so high that neither of them ever get near a mental break. So as long as they can just both stay alive, they'll probably be happy forever. Icecubone is going to celebrate his engagement with a hunt. It just so happens that a snow hare has wandered in. We could use the SMG here, but that wouldn't make him very brave now, would it? Who needs a gun when you have a wooden spear? Get in there, Icecubone. Show him what you're made of. Come on, man. You're getting beat by a bunny. There we go. It's over. Wow, that little monster bit all 4 of his limbs. Honestly, I'm more impressed than anything. I'm starting to have my doubts about his solid professional skill in melee. And of course, there's another raid by the Blight Wasters. This time it's Damp Rokeman. She has decent melee skill and an axe. Now, since Flossie can't fight, that means this one falls on Icecubone's shoulders. We'll let him rest as long as possible since his vicious battle against the snow hare. And here comes Damp, beginning their assault. I was planning on having them come to us, but Flossie snuck off to go haul the hare, so now she's potentially cornered in the northeast. I'm going to have Icecubone equip the SMG this time, and send him up there to hopefully pull the raiders' attention back to him. Good, good. The raiders attacking Icecubone instead. That's exactly what we needed. So now we'll just fire at them from here. Icecubone is a half-decent shot, so we should land a few good hits. Ooh, that was a great volley there. Good, alright, so now we'll just continue going south, and we did get hit. Not good. Hopefully it's not a serious wound. Just keep running, Icecubone. That's it. Looks like we just got a cut on the arm, so that's not too bad. They are badly hurt, and now they will be dead in 14 hours, but we'll try to finish this one even sooner. Let's go ahead and take another few shots here, and we'll just shoot a little bit more. And there it is. Good job, men. I think he's a better shot than he is a melee fighter, even though his passion clearly lies in hand-to-hand combat. She has a couple of poor items on her and a skirt. Nothing that really stands out, but that giant spider silk button-down shirt does kind of sound nice. We'll be taking those clothes, and Icecubone is healing himself above her. Like he's teasing her with being able to mend his own wounds. It's a weird flex, man, but alright. We received a quest for forced weather, which is fine. It's just fog. Now we can receive a gene pack and a masterwork folder, which is quite good. But I think for right now, the recurve bow and nerve stopper will be much, much more valuable. With the start of September, the magical enchantment on our fishing pole has begun to wane. Now we'll only catch special items half the time. This will hinder our progress in obtaining building materials like wood and steel, but it will provide us with actual fish to eat, securing us a sustainable food source. No longer will we have to rely on just liquor and whatever random food we catch. Flossie's going to crack open a beer to start the new day. And some majestic thrombos have wandered in. We'll need to keep an eye on them. They'll likely go after our food if they're out here long enough. And some slavers from the coalition of Enlenis have arrived. One of them is Flossie's brother, Glasses. That's odd. She didn't mention her brother was a slaver before they started dating. Then again, how does one bring up that subject at dinner? So do you know what my brother does? Now, this series of events does present us with a rare opportunity. What if we can use the slavers to kill the thrombos? That will provide us with a lot of meals. Let's equip that masterwork bow and send Icecubone out to start things off. And there we go. Finally got a hit in, and now it's mad. Run, Icecubone. Run, men. Help us, please. Please, somebody help us. Are you not seeing this? How is this a normal sight for you guys? Okay, we're actually in serious danger. They're not helping yet. Let's just weave through this crowd of slavers in hopes of something happening. Finally, the reinforcements have arrived. He managed to escape with just a few scratches, but he's still going to be dead in 5 hours, since those scratches came from a gigantic horn. We'll force Icecubone to rest out here. Flossie will come out here to tend to him. Just dodge that gunfire, Flossie. You're doing great. For someone who doesn't believe in violence, she often finds herself in the middle of it. This thrombo is just tearing through them. They're chucking grenades at it and everything. This is insane. If it kills a few more of them, then we still might be in danger. Okay, run. Just run. Back into the fishing hut. It can't find us in there. Finally, the monster has been slain. Look at all this carnage. There's just gore everywhere. due to the chaos, Icecubone now only has 3 hours to live, so we'll have Flossie tend to him immediately. And she's doing a good enough job with her mending, and he'll survive. That's great, because if either one of them die, the other will go insane, and this playthrough will just probably end that way. What a sad, sad way to end. The slaver caravan has run away, and honestly, who can blame them? I should have traded with them before attacking the Thrombo. Ah well, at least we got a big meal out of it. One of the slavers is down over here to the west. Oddly enough, it's Flossie's brother Glasses. I forgot all about him. He only has 2 hours left to live. Go, Flossie. Go save your brother. She might not get here in time. Okay, she arrived with less than an hour to go. Let's see if she can pull off a miracle and save her brother. And she did it. She's like a field surgeon in the middle of a war zone. Great job, Flossie. You showed that you can handle yourself under pressure. We need that here. This colony desperately needs that. She'll set him outside of the house to rest. His clothes are good enough to where he'll stay warm out here for quite some time, actually. And now an 11-year-old child named Kat wants to join us as well. We really don't have the time to babysit, but it would be horrible and bum them out if they turned a child away. I guess we'll let her in for now. If she ends up being a terrible colonist, we can just send her out for a nice swim. And here's little Kat. She's finally arrived. Why she's out here is anyone's guess. So let's take a look at her stats. She's a cat person. Kat the cat person. It's perfect. It's moments like these that brings out my love for this game. She can actually make for a really good colonist later on, once we get more established. Her age will probably scale alongside our faction's progress too. Already she's put on a hat, and she's burying a dead person for us. Talk about showing initiative. She's going to fit right in. Welcome to your new home, little one. Thankfully, she already has some warm gear on, so she's protected up to, or down to I guess I should say, -40 degrees. And she has a machine pistol. While the adults rest, the kid will continue burying the dead people for them. Since we're a tribal colony, we don't have access to any furniture, really, so we need to make a research spot, which is quite slow. I'm still not sure what to research first. On one hand, stone cutting would be a good idea, so we can start making use of all these ice chunks lying around. But on the other hand, researching basic furniture would give us the ability to make a stone cutting bench, so that seems to be the better option. Even though it's late at night, the sun is shining brightly. This must be the famous midnight sun I've heard so much about. We could take advantage of this one day with a solar panel, if we even make it that far, that is. We're about 17 days into our venture, and our wealth currently sits at 17,154 silver. So we're averaging about 1,000 silver per day. That's a pretty great way to run a business, however it's a very risky trajectory. Hopefully the raids will remain tame until we can at least get some defenses up. A group of Arctic wolves is migrating through the area. They look like such majestic and noble beasts when they're not trying to rip your throat out. Goodbye, wolves. Goodbye. May you find safe passage across the ice and feast on many raiders. The last few days have been quiet, and we've occupied ourselves through nature running and studying. I've rearranged our drug policies a bit to include many of the liquors and other drinks that we're fishing up, and already the group is taking full advantage of it. Flossie usually starts her day off with an energy drink, and Icecubone typically starts his with an entire bottle of whiskey. We finally finished researching basic furniture, but it turns out I was completely wrong about the stonecutter's table. That's actually unlocked through researching stone cutting. Yes, that makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. Well, that's going to put us behind a few days in terms of research, but at least we can make a stool now. Some more sheep have joined us. They're a special variant called silver sheep. From what I can tell, they seem to be nearly identical to their regular counterparts, but these ones are usually found underground, and they give us a leather called glacial leather, which seems to be much better at protecting against the cold. I'll gladly accept these sheep into our stomachs. I mean, settlement. Yeah. To arms, people. We're being raided again. This time by a new group called GaceLig. Or GacyLig? One of those. It's a Neanderthal, so we'll need to keep our distance. They tend to excel at melee combat. Oh, and this one has a Devil Strand lasso. Icecubone's going to go out with his bow, and we're sending Cat out with him. It might seem irresponsible of us to put a child in harm's way, but think of it more as on-the-job training. She needs to learn that people like Panther over here aren't going to pity her just because she's a kid. There they go, out onto the iceberg. Good luck, friends. They're building such a nice bond. Okay, we need to play this smart. We can't risk getting into range of his lasso, or he will probably destroy us. We'll need to flank them a bit, and there, now we can open fire. We landed one good shot. Okay, now let's run back. Good, good. Since the raider is waiting to attack, they're not ready to charge in after us just yet. So let's just keep abusing the AI here and doing a little bit of back and forth. Oh nice, and Cat's shooting is now level 2. See that? She's learning so much already. Panther isn't doing too well. He has a bunch of stab wounds from all the arrows that we've launched into his body, plus he's suffering from a bit of hypothermia. Oh, and he has a peg leg. This is a great combination of horrible things to happen to him. We could probably walk away now and just let nature handle the rest of this, but that wouldn't be very brave of Icecubone. So I'll let him finish the job here. Cat needs to learn that when you commit to something, even something as grisly as this, you need to see it through to the end. No half measures. And here comes Panther, finally beginning his assault, though I think he has more blood on the ice than in his body. Let's just keep kiting him along for a bit. Alright, they just keep whiffing their shots now. We must have gotten pretty lucky there early on. If anything, they're both getting in some great shooting practice. I love how Panther just keeps chugging forward. He's so dumb, yet so determined. You really have to respect that. Finally, we brought the big man down. And thank you for your donation. And thank you for your donation of time. You are the fire that warms my fishing hut. This is where we're going to end today, but there's a new episode dropping in just a few short days, so stay tuned for more. As always, I'm Lore Harbor, and I'll see you on the next one. They say that fishing is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Or maybe it's like opening up a pack of Pokemon cards, but instead of a Charizard, we pulled a Cubone. A special type of Cubone that lives in the ice. Our adventure has had more ups than downs, but the frigid cold and hateful raiders still encompass us, like the icy water itself, which is why today we're focusing on warmth and fighting skills. It turns out we need a stable internal body temperature in order to survive. As of now, we accomplish this by drinking copious amounts of alcohol. However, that sometimes comes with annoying side effects, like addiction. But our high mate friend here, she's hooked on something even worse than alcohol. Flossie's developed an addiction to energy drinks. I think we've all been there before, but I think this is a little worse because she has a toxic buildup in her body from drinking them so much. And she's following up the energy drinks with some Brandy. That's a very expensive liquor you're enjoying there, Flossie. I hope you really enjoy that. So now she's both drunk and toxic. Sounds like a lot of my ex-girlfriends. We just finished a trade for some silver and medicine, and now I'm accepting a quest called Murderous Beasts. Caravans of the Slicers are being harassed by a pack of 4 man-hunting snow hares, and Flea here wants us to help draw the beasts away. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that for this really cool book called Death. And here come the murderous little bunnies. We'll send Icecubone and Cat out there to take care of the problem. And Icecubone's gonna get some practice with his lasso. Wow, alright, that was pretty cool. Feels kind of wasted on a bunny, but that was a neat way to kill it. And the evil snow hares have been vanquished. Icecubone's got a bite on his torso and leg, but other than that, pretty good. The cold is becoming a greater threat with each passing day. It's currently negative 39 degrees, and that temperature is only going to continue dropping. We need to make another fire soon. Hopefully we can get some more wood to keep the frostbite at bay, or some warmer clothes will help too. Flossie crafted a Thrombo fur wolf's hood. It's great against the frigid weather. It gives her 45 cold protection, and more importantly, it looks really cool and intimidating. I really do like how all of our possessions are just laid out on the snow. It's nice seeing the little steps of progress that we've taken since arriving. There's often times where it's just completely dull and quiet out here in the flat, white wastes of the iceberg. And in these moments, it's easy to question yourself and your own sanity and asking why. But like Gandhi once said, the power to question is the basis of all human progress. And we may not all be completely human, but we are certainly progressing towards a greater future. Not all is well though. Cat is having some trouble adjusting to her new life, and she's taking a tantrum. That's alright, she can't do much damage, right now at least. A doctor named Kimmy from the Blight Wasters has crashed down. She's not very good, but her parka is, so we'll be able to add that to our clothes collection. Thanks, Kimmy. Cat's now suffering from hypothermia. We're going to keep her inside and get a fire started for her. I'm also going to use our abundant supply of silver to make some walls. It might seem like we're flexing on poor raiders, and we are, but it should also help us insulate better from the cold. It's currently negative 69 degrees outside, but a comfortable 79 degrees inside. I'm going to have Flossie make a wolf's head hood for Cat too. She's going to be using the glacial leather those silver sheep gave us, so that should be even better than her Thrombo one. Oh wow, this new hood is amazing. It provides 62 cold protection, and that's just at normal quality. These wolf hoods seem to be a little bit OP, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We're gonna need every advantage we can get out here. And just like that, Cat is nice and toasty in her new hood. She can withstand temperatures now as low as negative 87 degrees, or negative 66 Celsius. She looks adorable in it too. Look at her, going for nature runs without a care in the world. Oh, to be a kid again. Icecubone now has a wolf hood too. I guess that officially makes us a wolf pack? Maybe we should have called ourselves the Frozen Wolves instead. You're never too young to learn how to fish, and Cat's doing a fine job of it. She's really shaping into a contributing member of our colony way earlier than I thought she would. When she's not working, she's learning skills from the adults, or going on runs. We may not have a conventional school for her to learn, but she is learning from the best institution of all, the School of Hard Knocks. Some shamblers have wandered in from the frozen sea. This should be fine. As long as we don't get too close to them and they stay over there, they should just pass through or fall apart in a few days. Hey look, Cat is evolving. And just like that, Cat has reached age 13. They really do grow up fast. She's now old enough to do some more jobs, and we get to pick a trait for her. Iron Stomach is clearly the only good choice here, and honestly that could go a long way with them eating so much raw fish now. So we'll go with that. Oh nice, and she gained a minor passion and intellectual skill too. We'll take it. We'll take it all. So now we're going to build an expansion to our hut. Eventually this will become Cat's room since she's a teenager now, but for the meantime we can store some of our more valuable items in here. That way they don't completely waste away outside. And she's already having a teenage tantrum. I've heard a lot about those. That seems pretty fitting. Now that Cat's able to help us research, we'll get her started with that. Her research speed will be at a snail's pace at first, but gradually it'll continue to build as she gains levels, and she'll become an effective researcher in short time. Flossie is now a legendary master in social skills. That's going to look really good on her resume. Her charisma seems to be rubbing off on Icecubone too. The reclusive fisherman has turned into a bit of a socialite himself. Who knew? More raiders from Gaslig have arrived in the north. They're actually pretty good. Their strongest fighter is Donkey, so we'll need to keep a watchful eye on him. It would be great to capture him too if given the chance. Like before, Icecubone and Cat will wander out there to deal with them. Our only chance is to kite them pretty much around the map, or until they start just falling apart from injuries or hypothermia. Okay, and they're landing some shots. That's a decent start. Time to run. We do seem to be outpacing a few of them now. If we can just injure all of them, then we can outmaneuver the group and kite around them until they bleed out. We're going to try something a little risky here. Let's see if we can split them up and pick them off a little bit easier. I'll send Cat to the east and push her north a bit, and I'll keep Icecubone moving south. Cat has the lever action rifles, so she should be able to keep a safe distance between her and her assailants. It looks like the three of them are splitting off after her, and one of them's only going after Icecubone. Unfortunately, it's the fastest guy too, so he's not going to have time to really get any shots off. We'll just keep pushing Cat north, and good. Alright, now we have an even split. 2 attackers on each colonist. I'm going to bring Flossie into this. Even though she refuses to fight, we could still use her as a decoy to steal some of the attention away from the others. We're keeping a bird's eye view on the events. It's like playing a twisted game of chess with Christmas-colored pawns. It's hard to tell, but it looks like this one raider here is catching up to Icecubone, but they might just be matching his pace. I'll see if he'll go after Flossie instead. Meanwhile, Cat is leading her 2 pursuers into the icy water north of the berg. We'll just keep her running that way and stringing these guys along. Alright, I'm going to throw Flossie right at this guy. Maybe we can get him to change targets, but he seems pretty determined to chase Icecubone. Oh no, that was close. Alright, get out of there, Flossie. She definitely has that raider's attention now. This will give Icecubone a chance to get off a shot or two. And yes, good. Such a satisfying thud that made. I love that. I love when the arrows puncture their bodies. The frozen fishers have now rendezvoused north of the house, and all the injured raiders are limping in on us. Each one of them has been shot, and most if not all are suffering from early hypothermia. We should be okay now as long as we play it safe and don't take any unnecessary risks. It's really just the circling of the drain at this point. If all the blood and violence isn't dreadful enough, there's now an eclipse and a solar flare happening at the same time, like a bad omen from the gods. Unfortunately, Donkey has succumbed to his injuries. Man, he would have made for a great fighting colonist if we had the chance to get him. Alright, and another one has fallen, and the other 2 are beginning to retreat. We're actually going to hunt them down for the shooting practice, and as a way of teaching this faction a lesson. They didn't make it very far. Hamster is the only one still breathing, and their traits are terrible. Their gear is awful too. Icecubone is just gonna finish them off, and we'll carve out some more holes in the ice to dump their bodies. Look at all the blood. I love how the snow clearly shows you the story of the entire battle. That took like 7 in-game hours. That was crazy. Now that it's April-May, our mysterious fishing pole seems to be losing even more of its magic, and I feel that it's only going to continue to wane in power as the seasons go on. And now we've received a quest from the Broken Dominion. They need a place for their commander, Nussless, to land. They'll have 2 Janissaries with them, so they can get harmed but the commander can't. Okay, so we just have to fend off a few raiders and try not to get killed. That shouldn't be too hard. Here they are, crash landing to the northeast. There's the commander, Justina Nussless. Let's check out our guards. This Kakuskas person is, they're an amazing fighter, but they're also insane. They have bloodlust, slothful, schizoid, and psychically deaf. Incapable of caring. Yeah, kind of figured as much. An adventurous dreamer warmonger. Wow, what a fantastic fighter to have. I don't even think they're going to need our help, to be honest. And the other Janissary, Euphemia Molatus, is actually a really good fighter too. So yeah, we might not have to do much, if any, work here. Just a few hours later, and the settlers from the Blue Bluff settlement have arrived to attack the Imperials. This is starting to sound a bit like Skyrim. Icecubone will finish eating his fish, then he and Cat will go out to reinforce our guests. Here they come. Kaskuskas, being the crazy person she is, just rushed right towards them. We're going to hang back and pick our shots carefully with Cat. I'll rush forward with Icecubone so he can act as a support role, and that way he can also get some practice in with this Thrombo Horn. And Cat has gone into a daze. Probably not the best time for that. Oh nice, Icecubone just lassoed that person like Scorpion and impaled them with the horn. Oh, I love that animation mod. That was really cool. Well, I guess that's it then. Thanks for your donation, Castillo. And there goes the Broken Dominion. Safe travels, friends. Safe travels. And now we can break apart this shuttle for some much needed loot. The time has come. Icecubone and Flossie are getting married. And during the reception, they talk about training penguins, feathers, beech trees, and bison. They're gonna have such a long, happy life together. Ah, yes. Finally, we fished up enough wood to craft a stone cutting table. Up until now, we've been getting by on whatever scraps we can fish out of the sea. But now, we can shape the ice around us into useful blocks. Look at that. Sturdy ice blocks. Just as nature intended. The perfect building material in the relentless cold. They look so fancy once they're built in the walls. Cat and Icecubone are doing a great job building. And we're going to build this wall along the little stream that the natural ice melt has made. It looks pretty cool, and we can't build over it, so we might as well just make it part of the settlement. Some traders with the Bani Coalition have arrived. I could trade for this kibble and the 2 muffalo as well. That might work for some time, give us good wool, things like that. But, nah, it just seems like too much maintenance. Plus, what will we do when the kibble runs out? It probably wouldn't take very long either. I might regret not taking them later on, but for now this feels like the right decision. It's our first hard snow of the year. The temp is -15, which is a drastic improvement over what we were dealing with in December. We also laid out a basic design of what the base might look like in the future. I have this grander vision of a courtyard for some windmills and maybe other things, and some improvements over the current rooms, but not much beyond that. Like the great poet Tupac once said, "I want to grow, I want to be better. You grow, we all grow. We're made to grow. You either evolve or you disappear." I feel like we've really encapsulated that energy here. We are adapting with the ice itself, turning that which imprisoned us into the building blocks and how we build toward the future. If that's not growth, well, I just don't know what is. And I want to thank you for helping this channel grow. You are the Tupac on my iceberg. As always, I'm Lore Harbor, and I'll see you on the next video. Do you ever feel exhausted and beat up after a long day of work? Well, imagine you've just had that same day, but it's -70 degrees outside, and almost everyone you meet tries to kill you. That's an average day out here on the sea ice. But despite that, the frozen fishers are doing well. Almost everything you see has been gifted to us by the sea. Even the icy walls of our home are made from this same frigid water. You would think on an iceberg there would be at least some peace and quiet. However, that couldn't be farther from the truth, which is why today we're going to be focusing on sealing ourselves away from both the cold and the danger. Walls of ice may be brittle, but they do provide some insulation, and, well, they're better than no walls. The expansion has taken a few days, but it's starting to really come together. It looks like a proper home now. We also built an icy campfire. How can ice be used to create fire? Don't worry about it. It just works, man. It just works. I've also decided to keep most of the apparel outside with the throwing rocks. It just takes up way too much room, and I really don't see the need to store it inside. Eventually, nature will recycle it for us. And a group called the Brigands have attempted to extort us. We're gonna just say no thank you. We're not giving you what we had. You can't even reach us. We're on an iceberg. And here they are now, trying to make us pay for refusing to bend the knee. Cat is wandering around in a daze, so she's actually in a lot of danger here. But we're actually going to try to use that to our advantage. And maybe Icecubone could pick off 1 or 2 of them with the rifle. Alright, he's missed all of his shots. He's really just a lousy fighter, I think. Maybe that or it's just his age catching up to him. And they just downed Cat. She's alive though, so that's good. Icecubone's gonna run back inside and grab his trusty thrombo horn. If he's going to die, he's going to do it with a melee weapon in his hand. We're gonna wait by the door here. The raiders are circling around like a group of bloodthirsty sharks, so we're gonna try to play it cool and pick our spots. Thankfully, Cat has 10 hours to live. That should give us enough time to save her if Icecubone can beat these guys. Look at him, he's rearing to go. Let's just observe their behavior for a moment. They don't seem to be attacking the walls yet. Instead, they've split up into patrols around the building. Oh, and here we go. The injured one is on his own. This is our chance. Oh, nice. He went down with 1 hit. The Relentless is a deadly shooter, so we're going to want to lure them in, if possible. And we'll send Flossie out here to go grab Cat. Hopefully she can make a mad dash and bring her inside to safety. Alright, Icecubone's going to run out and tackle the Relentless, and he's just shoving the horn through his chest. And Link and Tividar are still out there, but they seem to be running. And Icecubone just dragged Link back in. And let's see if he can finish them off. Alright, you know what? He's taking a lot of unnecessary shots, so I'm just going to bring him in. That little mini turret on that person's back is doing a lot of damage. Yeah, alright, let's get him inside. He's going to be dead in 11 hours, but he should be okay, especially with Flossie tending the cat so much earlier than I thought we could. And luckily, because of trades and fishing, we have a good supply of medicine, and even some Glitter World medicine if it really comes down to that. Honestly, considering how that could have gone, that was probably one of the better outcomes. And how Icecubone's drinking by the fire to calm his nerves. Drink as much as you want, man. You definitely earned it. He's not even able to finish his drink before another raid has come in, this time from the Blue Bluff settlement. Something tells me this is not going to go very well. Cat is absolutely out of the fight, and Icecubone is just on the edge of crashing down himself. He's using liquor to really hold himself together. Just like before, we'll have him wait in the doorway to lure the attackers in. Okay, let's have him execute this Tony, or not, just stand there. Oh, and now he's pulling in one of the others as well. This is great. Apparently he wants to fight all of them at once. Great strategy. Oh good, he chopped down Tony. Now get back inside, away from all the bullets. Hopefully they'll come toward us. Alright, here comes Grump. He's just smashing the wall. Let's have Flossie repair that so they can't just make an entrance here. And go out and attack Grump. Good. Oh, pocket sand. Threw sand in his eyes. That's awesome. Alright. I love that. The remaining raiders, Sam, is just running away. And I don't blame him. If I saw an injured drunk man with a horn take out all of my companions, I'd probably flee too. So Grump is going to be dead in 20 hours. He is currently knocked out, which is a really cool feature. His stats are okay, but honestly it's the lazy trait that's kind of keeping me away. We can't really afford someone not to carry their weight around here. Tony here is going to die in 4 hours. She's actually a very good fighter. A little older than I'd like. She has an amazing passion in melee and animals, which would make her a great fisherman. We'll take her. And we're going to go ahead and strip Grump of his clothes. Not that we need them necessarily, but they are decent. We might need replacement clothes soon. And you'll also just die faster that way out in the cold. Maybe we'll put him out of his misery. You know what? Let's do that. We're just going to take Grump out now. Why delay his suffering? Oh god, we gouged out his eyes. Oh god. It's horrible. He tore his eyes out first. Icecubone, why would you do that? Grump suffered so much more from him melee attacking him than he would have just freezing to death. And Flossie's gonna tend to Tony. It looks like she's keeping it together. A propagandist named Caillou from the Grey Ridge Bandits has just crashed down right after all of that fighting. She's another really old person who we just don't have any use for. We will have use for that spider silk tank top though. That sounds nice. Unfortunately, due to all the fighting, Cat hasn't gotten the tending she's needed, and she's now been affected with sensory mechanites. The pain that she's suffering will render her pretty much useless. However, we do still have some of that mech healer serum stored from earlier in the journey. So we'll have her use that to hopefully cure these nasty things out of her. And success! The serum has erased the invasive mechs from her body. That's at least one less thing to stress her out. She has like a mood break almost every day, so this will hopefully help her not break down as much. Her and Icecubone are really starting to hate each other. If things don't improve soon, we might have to make some living arrangements. Yeah. It's now the 1st of Jugust, officially marking the 1-year anniversary since Icecubone was left stranded on this iceberg. One thing I appreciate about the sea ice is that you can see your hard work much more clearly than other places in the world. Our blood, sweat, and tears are frozen into the very bricks in which our home is built. And I'd say that we've made some good progress in just 1 year. We still have a long ways to go, of course, but it's nice to see how far you've come. The next thing we have to do is learn the mystical power of electricity and harness it as a shield against the unforgiving cold of this hellscape. So that'll be our main project for this coming year. Also, since it's a new season, the magical fishing pole's power has waned once again. It seems to catch special items only 6% of the time now, which is still quite a lot considering how much we do fish. I'm not sure when this happened, but someone caught a really cool persona core. I've actually never even seen one of these before, but it is worth a lot of silver, so it could come in handy for a big trade. One thing I want to talk about is, due to the way the map was made, it seems that the pathfinding for the AI, at least the traders, seems to be a little bit off. They always hang around the far edges of the map, which is really inconvenient when it's like negative 65 degrees outside. So I went ahead and installed this mod, the trading spot mod, and it honestly works pretty well. So now we no longer have to take a 3-hour walk to go make a trade or to say hi to a visitor. Now they'll be coming to us. And we're going to buy a lot of cigarettes and coffee. That's what our people run on, cigarettes and coffee and fish. That's a real fisherman's life. In this little courtyard area here that I'm making, we're going to put some planters down as well from one of the vanilla expanded mods. I haven't used these since the Stranded video, but they do come in handy, though it's only warm enough to grow crops in Geogist for about a week or so, so we're only going to have a limited use of them. Man, Flossie's social skill is so overpowered. She's more persuasive than an army recruiter speaking to high school kids. Whenever she tries to recruit Tony, she drops her resistance about 3 points every time. That's pretty good. And there we go, Tony's been successfully recruited. Alright, we have a new member of the wolf pack. And whether it's due to her happiness of joining us or being released from imprisonment, Tony started a binge party. Everyone is actually getting along. Even Icecubone and Cat are talking nicely to each other. But Cassandra has grown restless after days of peace, and she sent a pack of man-hunting snow hares our way. There's 11 of these little monsters. I'm going to force Tony and Icecubone to wear the tainted plate armor. They may not like the smell, but at least they won't be getting bit as much. Alright, here they come. Go, Flossie, get inside. And we're gonna clog the door and fight them here. We're like the 300 Spartans versus the 1 million man Persian army. But instead of Persians, it's snow hares, and instead of Spartans, it's crazy people with guns and horns. Okay, not too bad. And good, that's the last of them. Tony got the worst of it, but overall that's a great outcome. And there's even a few snow hares that aren't rotted, so we will be able to eat them. So the past few days have been filled with fighting. After the vicious snow hare attack, we accepted a quest to help the Broken Dominion with another one of their shuttles needing to crash land on our iceberg. Honestly, they just need to figure their stuff out. They need new management for their space vehicle department. But they had no reason to fear, because we placed them under the protection of the wolf pack. I was thinking about capturing Larissa here, who's actually a pretty good colonist, but Tony ended that idea when she cut off her head. Thanks, Tony. The following day we were raided by Sasez, a group of dangerous impids. It was a long fight, and there was definitely some fire involved. Tony fought bravely, but lost her second left toe in the heat of battle. Still, we were victorious. And now we're here, playing a calming game of Hoopstone. But not everything can remain calm. Cat and Icecubone have gotten into a social fight. It seems they were having a chat about breakfast, when suddenly she called him a salamander, which sent him into a rage. These two really can't stand each other. Some changes might have to be made pretty soon. At least they're making up a bit. What a weird father-daughter dynamic these two have. In a shocking turn of events, a Thrombo has self-tamed to us. I don't even know what to do, honestly. I've never had a Thrombo before. The survivalist in me wants to slaughter it, but the optimist in me wants to try to keep it alive. I guess we'll just let it go for now and we'll just see what happens. And once again we're being raided, this time by the Blue Bluff settlement. I'm going to send Icecubone out to land some early shots on them. They have some pretty good colonists, so maybe we'll end up with one of them. He's actually doing a great job. Landed some good shots. Alright, he was actually just lit up right there. We're going to have to get him back inside. Wow, he only has 5 hours to live. This is not good. Cat will come up to assist. She has a bit more range with her weapon, and she's a half-decent shot. Good. Okay, we're just going to have them both retreat into the courtyard with the Thrombo. Maybe it'll help fight them off. I'll send Tony in there as well, and keep her by the door. That way she can pounce on one of them when they're not expecting it. And Tony knocked one of them off the Muffalo. Unfortunately, our Thrombo was absolutely no help. He's just running away with the Muffalo. Tony's killed a second person. Man, she's really cleaning up. And yes, now they're fleeing. Good. Chase them down. Make them pay for their sins. Alright, so I just kind of made a mistake right here. I thought at first I didn't want Roberts, even though she had some pretty good skills. But then I see here that she's a fisherman, which makes me really want her. The only problem is I've already stripped her of her clothing, and I don't think she's going to put any back on. This could be problematic. We'll let this one play through. Maybe she'll put some clothes on, or maybe we can keep her warm enough, but I'm not holding out much hope. We're also going to capture Ibrahim. He has some good stats, and he's younger. Roberts is quickly dying of hypothermia, and there's really nothing more I can do. I regret stripping her. I really should have paid more attention to that. And there she goes. Roberts is gone. She's at one with the ice now. But we still have Ibrahim, and he's doing rather well, so we gained one potential colonist out of it. And the Thrombo is healing from its injuries. It got shot a couple of times, and through the power of a pumpkin spice latte, it seems to have fully mended. So there you go. If you ever need a reason to get a pumpkin spice latte, that's probably it. And I hope you're enjoying a pumpkin spice latte wherever you are, or whatever it is you like to drink. I don't judge. It gets cold and lonely out here on the ice, but it's people like you that make it worth it. So thank you so much, my friends, for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Welcome back to the sea ice, a marvelous place full of splendor and joy. There's not much to frown about up here. Our days are filled with the wonderful hobbies of fishing and construction. In fact, we're so annoyingly upbeat that we often draw in those who wish to take our happiness from us, but they always seem to fail, and we even brought one of them to our side. Of course, this mental state applies to just Icecubone and Flossie, who are psychically bonded through insane levels of love. For everyone else living out here, each day feels like just another layer of madness that only the sweet touch of death can cure. There's one way to reverse this nightmare though: food. Turns out, constantly starving is a great way to go insane, and the small fish we're catching now are hardly enough to satisfy our primal needs. Therefore, we're going to need meatier fish to sink both our hooks and our teeth into. Now that there's more mouths to feed, it's time to catch bigger fish. I'll create a medium fishing zone here, and we'll call it Meaty Mediums. Sounds nice. And we'll make a large fishing zone here and call it Lavish Larges. There goes Cat on another mental break. It seriously happens like once every 2 days. This time it's corpse obsession. She just left the body on the table. It's so ridiculous. Oh, this is something new. A defoliator ship has crashed nearby. It kills plants within an expanding radius. Lucky for us, that's not much of an issue. And even more lucky for us, a royal tribute collector has arrived. This is another good opportunity. Maybe I can bait them into attacking the mechs. Once in a while, they'll get aggroed over to help protect us when we initiate a fight with them, but they don't seem to want to commit to completely attacking the robots. I might have to figure out another plan. And how fortuitous. The Broken Dominion has set us yet another quest. This one's called the Scourge Cluster. We will have to fight all of these different mechs, but 2 champions will be placed under our control, and we get to pick one of these great gifts. I think we'll go ahead and do this. We'll do it for the goodwill. Here come the champions, my friends. Angelos and Tiberius. They're each pretty good. They have these weak melee weapons though, that's no good. We will have to give them, well, we don't really have any upgrades other than the Thrombo Horn, but that is reserved for Tony. So they'll have to maybe equip some guns for now. And the Mechanoid Cluster has landed close by. I'll send Icecubone out there to start this thing off. I'm really hoping this time, if we aggro them, they'll come in towards the settlement, and the Royal Caravan will hopefully finish them off. That's the goal. Okay, we'll take a shot here. And good. Yes, he's angered the mechs. And now they're charging in, and the caravan seems to be reacting to it. He did get shot. It's not a great thing, but it was just a shot in the leg. Nothing too bad. Nothing we can't bandage. He's just going to be a mummy soon. He's just filled with bandages. Alright, now they're exchanging fire outside. This is exactly what I wanted. And good. Alright, looks like they took care of the mechs without too much issue. There is still the the different turrets over there that are out of range. I guess they both just can't see each other. But overall, they did a good job. Unfortunately, nobody got knocked down on the caravan side. I was kind of hoping to get some more gear or potentially, a weapon or something. But yeah, all right, that works too. I think it's time to send the 2 champions up there to clean up what's remaining. And I'm an idiot. I completely forgot you can't use a ranged weapon when you have a shield belt equipped. Ah well, I'm too committed now, and honestly, I don't really care about these guys. Oh god, they keep getting lit on fire, and they have to run into the frigid water to put it out. It's like the worst of both worlds. Fire and ice, man. Those bubble shields are wonderful, though. They're really saving them here. They should be dead already, but they just keep deflecting shots. It's like Halo 3. I should give them some backup. But I'm not going to be putting any of my people at risk here. They get paid like champions. This is what they signed up for. They should be ready to take this on their own. The champions both got pretty messed up, especially Angelos, but they'll live. They'll live. And as the royal caravan was leaving, they've gotten into a shootout with the Militor mechs. Great. That'll take care of that nuisance too. And Tony and Tiberius will go out and clean up the rest. Destroy both of these clusters once and for all. We are really struggling on food. The time has come to slaughter the Thrombos, sadly. I know, I don't want to do it either, but we have to. The creature's starving, or will be, and we're coming close to that ourselves. We're just not a stable enough colony yet to support such a hardy creature. So long, friend. Your meat will serve us well, as will the rest of you. Abraham is trying to break out of his containment again. He's done this before already, and just like before, Tony's gonna put him down. Even though she's already beaten him twice, he still doesn't hate her. Maybe he really respects her fighting prowess. And we just got a creepy message. A drifter approaches the colony. He wants to talk. His name is Anton Yezov. Oh, kind of like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Great. Let's just hope he's not an insane killer like him as well. Flossie, go to him. A weary-looking drifter stretches his legs. He seems very tired. He asks to stay in your colony for a while, at least until he has recovered his strength. Yezov claims an extensive knowledge in alchemical practice. He can transmute steel into various valuable resources. Oh, okay, so it's like the Philosopher's Stone. He may be very useful, but you also sense there's something Yezov is not telling you. Of course we'll let him join. Come on in, man. Show us those cool powers you're talking about. Alright, let's test out his ability on this slag chunk over here. And nice. Alright, we got some plasteel. Bravo, good sir. Bravo. I feel like we're watching a magician. Our settlement now has constant entertainment in a form of a magician who can change steel into other materials. I did not anticipate this happening. And his ability is recharged after nearly another day. So let's try it out again on this chunk. And okay. Alright, we got bioferrite. That is fantastic. This is giving me the same excited energy as when we pull special items from fishing. That's great. Come to think of it, this whole journey has been some big dice roll. Using her magical powers of persuasion, Flossie has convinced Abraham to join. He does have this lush trait. I don't know how much that's going to affect him, but we're going to have to roll the dice now. We need another fighter. That's really what we're looking for here. We have pretty much all the basics covered as far as skill sets go, but we really need another fighter to help get our team over these pretty bad raids. He's younger too, so maybe he'll be a good friend to Cat. And like everyone else, he gets right to work fishing. We all fish around here. Him and Icecubone are standing around the edge of the pond talking about computer games. I feel like many a fisherman have been there. And it's time for Yezov to pull off his party trick again. And this time we're gonna get twisted flesh. Huh. Was not expecting that. Alright, that's a bit disconcerting. We're gonna need to keep a closer eye on him than I thought, just in case he starts doing some more weird stuff. The gods do not deduct a man's allotted time on Earth, the time they spend fishing. If that's true, then our group has banked up a lot of extra hours in life. We mostly catch fish nowadays, but once in a while we still catch something outlandish, like shoes or human leather. we're under attack once again, but this time there's a longer message. They're going to be using clever tactics, and Flossie's sister Selma is part of their group. Well, that's an interesting dynamic. It says they'll still attack each other because of their loyalty to the factions, but maybe we can capture her if she's any good. Ray Wolfen is really good, and more importantly, he's a fisherman. We almost need to make that a priority to capture this guy. Unfortunately, Yezov is going through a mental break. I don't know if it's from him transmuting things or just from the horrible life that is the Iceberg, but he's not doing good. So we're going to need to navigate this battle carefully since we're a man down. Cat will go out and fire off some far shots. Maybe we can injure one or two of them. Oh, there's another raider sneaking in from the east. I did not see that before. Cat could actually be in some danger here, so let's get her to retreat to the courtyard. Oh, and she just got hit by a really unlucky shot. Or I guess lucky for whoever shot it. And we have this raider right here, looking to come inside. Maybe we should let them in. And Yezov is just going to open the door. Thankfully, he didn't let any of the raiders in, but he is down now. Yezov is injured pretty badly, it looks like. And Abraham's going to distract them and run from those grenades. Oh no, they're stealing Yezov away. One of them has just scooped him up and is running. I don't really think there's a way we can go and get him. No, we just don't have the firepower to really push through these guys in a fast enough way. We're going to have to wait it out in the courtyard. All right, they are moving through the traps a little bit, which is good. Tony just got shot up a bit. Abraham has just went into a psychotic state. His final straw was alcohol withdrawal. All right, I think this lush trait is going to be a bigger problem than I originally thought. All right, Icecubone's going to go bail him out. And Tony's going to have to go out here and get rid of this guy. Or drag them in. That works too. Let's have her execute David if possible. Alright, there goes Ray Wolfen. We're going to try to catch him. Come back here, Ray. Alright, so this is our chance. We might be able to knock Ray Wolfen down. I really hope we can get him without killing him. And he's dead. Alright. Oh well. Can't have everything, I guess. Instead, we're stuck with miserable Abraham. But hey, they did take Yezov, and he was kind of becoming a bit scary with all of his mental psychotic breaks and making of twisted flesh, so maybe that was a win for us overall. I mean, I know we got pretty banged up, but I think with Yezov being gone, it might be better in the long run. Who knows what would have happened to that man if he stayed. And Tony's now going through a corpse obsession. Really, the three of them, Abraham, Tony, and Cat, are all just a bunch of head cases. Constantly having mental breaks and just bumming everyone else out. I don't know if it's just everyone being mentally weak, or if Icecubone and Flossie's psychic bond keeps them in such a good mood all the time. Perhaps it's a combination of both, now that I think about it. Things are beginning to get really bleak for Cat. She has a major infection, which we've been doing the best we can with, but she's also fallen catatonic. That's kind of funny. Cat and catatonic. And a group of shamblers that look like they just came in from the Walking Dead are now arriving from the west. Now, even though Cat is catatonic still, she just gained a really cool event. It says the time Cat spent fighting the deadly illness was enough time for a self-reflection, as she has developed the Brawler trait. Cat likes to fight up close and personal. Her accuracy is greatly increased in melee combat, but she'll be very unhappy if asked to carry a ranged weapon. Well, that's both good and bad, because now that gives us 3 melee fighters, but now we lose one of our ranged fighters. But I think this calls for a special adjustment. We're going to go ahead and take away Cat's passion for shooting, and just reallocate that in melee, because if she wants to become a brawler and she's had a sudden change of heart for that, then I think it's only fitting for the story. And as soon as Ibrahim had woken up, he had immediately fallen back into another alcohol withdrawal fueled mental break. So I think at this point, there's only one thing we can really do with him, and that is to take him out of his misery. It was worth an experiment, but apparently the lush trait is just way too much for us to overcome at this point. And there he goes. Abraham is no more. And now with Abraham gone, we only have 2 head cases left. Cat's back up, but she's at an extreme break risk, and Tony, who just took a tantrum, is also an extreme break risk. Obviously, one of them's going to go through a catharsis, but this is just an example of what I'm dealing with here. It's a constant balance of their emotions and mental state. We've got a lot of wealth here in the colony, but we are poor in so many other ways. We're a dysfunctional family who merely keeps things together through the necessity of survival itself. Now, most of our mental breaks seem to be coming from the lack of food. You would think now that we only fish items up at 6% of the time, we'd have a lot more fish stored, but that's just not the case. Like I mentioned earlier, fishing takes a long time, especially for the medium and large fishing spots. And sometimes we might not actually pull food. And once we have the fish, everyone gets disgusted by eating it. So no matter what, whether they go hungry or eat raw fish, they're just constantly getting put into a bad mood. Plus, we haven't really been able to do much of any fishing lately, simply because of all the raids and other events that have been occurring. We've been just healing. Just right now, we have 3 people healing. Flossie's pretty much the only one who's consistently healthy enough to actually function properly, and she's mostly been taking care of patching people up. So now, going forward, we're going to have to put an emphasis on fishing, especially with Icecubone, since he seems to be the best one equipped for it. And while they're gathering more fish for us, we'll have Flossie concentrate mainly on cooking. She's a pretty decent cook, and we need more meals. That way we can actually stretch out the food we catch further. And they'll be happy to eat some cooked meals at their table. I'm also going to have them build Cat a bed and a little bedroom set too. And so hopefully this will help her sleep better and put her in a slightly better mood. Though honestly, she does seem to be quite hard to please either way. The kid is spoiled, I tell you. She's spoiled. Now that we have a decent supply of meals starting to accumulate here, we're also going to focus on getting a research bench built. We can actually build one of these, and we can make an icy one. Look how clean that looks. Just a nice clean off-white or silver, if you will. With the light and the heat from the campfire, we should be able to start researching at a decent clip. And a bowl leaper named Kovushais is crashing in a transport pod nearby. He actually has some really good skills. He's great with animals, which would make him an excellent fisherman. He's got some melee skill. He's got some crafting, decent baseline stuff. He's only 21, which would make him young enough to be friends with Cat. He's also Yadigan, so he's kind of like a Chewbacca kind of guy. We will take him. We will make him our own. Unfortunately, Kovushais is not doing well. I thought since he was a Yadigan, he would be able to handle being in the cold, because you just kind of put those two together usually, but that does not seem to be the case at all. He is freezing from hypothermia, and he won't even put on the clothes even when he was healthy enough to walk around. So I'm not too sure what to do here other than to put him into our main chamber. Even in the main chamber, it is negative 15 degrees with the fire on. And I could technically build a small room and all this stuff and cramp another fire in there, but I just really don't want to go through the resources to keep this colonist alive. I don't think they're worth that much. So we're just going to have to take them out, and Tony's going to be the one to do it. She's our enforcer after all, so let's go ahead and just make it quick, Tony. And as poetic as it is, Tony finished off the prisoner just as the campfire light has gone out. That's some dark symbolism. So it's been about a week, and nothing else has really happened. There was a mech attack back on December the 8th, and they broke down 2 of our walls, but we were able to handle them pretty easily. And a migration of Muffalo came through, and luckily we were able to get all 3 of them. But other than that, it's been pretty uneventful. Our plan of grinding fishing has really paid off. It's the 4th of April, May, and we have a ton of fish now. Plenty of food. This will last us for a good while, and now we can focus mainly on researching electricity. Sure, our current predicament might be dark and cold, but we're building together, working even with people that we don't necessarily like, towards a brighter future, both literally and metaphorically. And it's that hope that drives us every day to push just a little bit further, to hold out just a little bit longer in the cold, dark rooms that we dwell within. And I hope you're not holding out in a cold, dark room, but if you are, I want to thank you for coming along this journey. We've made it a long way, but now things are starting to get a bit more interesting. For now, I'm Lore Harbor, and I'll see you on the next video. Well, hello. Long time no see, friends. Nothing clears your mind quite like being on an iceberg. All your problems seem to dissipate when you're staring up at the clouds, floating gently on a giant ice cube. except when raiders attack you, or when evil mechs fall from the sky and try to rip you apart. But aside from that, everything's great. Even the raids seem to be getting better. A group of brigands launched yet another attack, but our friends defeated them with ease. Since then, things have been quiet. Too quiet. But I'm not complaining. I feel like we've earned a small bit of respite. The uneventful week afforded us enough time to finish researching electricity. That was probably our biggest obstacle in terms of research, and now we can start studying easier topics like batteries. We'll also need something to generate power for us. A windmill feels like a great place to start since our settlement's located in the center of a flat expanse of ice. And on the second year of our journey, Icecubone said, "Let there be light." It may be inconsistent light at the moment, but we'll have batteries soon enough to make it more stable. Man, the interior lighting makes this feel like a whole new tribe, doesn't it? Finally, our home is no longer shrouded in darkness. This marks the start of a new age for our people. A light age, a golden age, an age of fishing and well-lit rooms. And look, we have a stove. Wow, a fancy place to cook our meals. Oh, and look at that, we just fished up a gunlink. Oh, that's a pretty cool thing to find in a frozen pond. And a migration of penguins is passing by. Maybe they're here to celebrate our discovery of electricity. Just look how cute they are. Icecubone will go out to welcome them. Nah, I'm just kidding. Did you really think I would slaughter penguins? What kind of monster do you think I am? A message carrier named Ripa has crashed nearby. Wow, he's a jogger. That's great. And he's excellent with melee. He has great social and some other skills as well. The only downside really is he's 75 years old, but honestly, he doesn't have any health conditions. That's incredible. He's taken great care of himself throughout the years. He's like one of those old guys you see at the gym who's just in great shape and makes you feel terrible about yourself. Here you are, sir. You can rest in the nice bed. And while Tony's mending him, we'll have Flossie prepare him a nice hot meal on the new stove. Reapa's gonna have a misconception of what life is really like for this settlement. It's like one of those horror movies where it's a utopia and things seem great, but you could sense that there's a sinister underbelly beneath it all. And there it is. Ripa has joined us. This is great, I think. We don't have a very good track record with 5th colonists here, so hopefully it'll work out. I just realized how old our colony is. Icecubone's old, Flossie's definitely not young, Tony's up there in age. It's starting to get really geriatric in here. Oh, and we have marvelous news, folks. Flossie is pregnant. How about that, huh? After years of trying to have children with his ex-wife, Icecubone is finally going to be a father. Just when he least expected it. How often does that happen in life? Flossie, Flossie doesn't seem too thrilled about the idea. But I'm sure they'll talk it out. We'll eventually have to make another bedroom for them and the baby, but for now they'll be fine. I put them in the main room here to sleep just because they're always so positive, even though their sleep is always being disturbed. God, they must be really annoying to live with. Just upbeat all the time. No wonder why Kat and Tony are snapping constantly. The funny thing is, if the colony stays as it is right now, that means the baby will technically be the closest in age to Kat. So she's just stuck in the middle between a retirement home and a nursery. This is going to be interesting. And the space gods have sent down a baby shower gift. It's a bunch of spine apple slices. It actually sounds like quite the exotic fruit. Want to try some spine apple? So over the past few days, I've had them rearrange the settlement, and we were forced to redirect the flow of the natural spring to make it work. But I think it looks pretty good. Since it's summer, more ice chunks will be forming outside when the melting ice freezes over. So we'll have a decent supply of building material to continue expanding our base. Who says you can't grow rice in the Arctic? Now we have something to eat with our fish. Ripa must think this place is just amazing. Ever since he's arrived, it's been a pretty smooth ride. No raids, plenty of food, electricity. He has no idea how much suffering we went through to get here. Just look at this main chamber here. Sure, the shelves make it look a bit cluttered, but look how cozy it is. Who wouldn't want a nap here? And look at all the stuff we have. Years of fishing, trading, and raiding has built up to this. As the great George Carlin once said, that's the whole meaning of life. Trying to find a place for your stuff. And I think we finally found that. After nearly a month of peace, A pack of man-hunting snow hares has arrived. Let's try to lure them over here to save the traps. We'll need these for the tougher foes when they eventually come along. Icecubone's taking some of them out with his volcanic pistol. And let's send the others up here to block for him. This is awesome. It looks like an epic medieval battle. Well, one with a gun, of course. I like to think that these snow hares have some sort of hive mind out there on the sea ice. Some giant snow bunny calling the shots. And they hate us for some reason. And that's the last of them. Another victory against the evil snow hares. Better luck next time. Oh, and a few of them didn't rot, so great. Couple extra meals. And what's even better is we didn't lose any of the traps. Another few days have passed and a trader has finally arrived. It's a bulk goods trader from Enlenis, led by Alan Mills, the pyromaniac cannibalistic surgeon. Wow, what a title. What a fascinating man. Let's go meet this legend. Yes, thank you. Finally, someone who has steel. We'll buy all of that, and I mean all of it. We'll pay any price, it doesn't matter. We'll give you anything. Wow, they have so many good things here. Flossie went on a bit of a shopping spree, but it was well worth it. Of course, we bought all of the steel, but then we also grabbed some more components, chem fuel, pink wool, and chocolate. Oh, and we got this 5-finger fillet table. It's a little extra piece of entertainment, and who doesn't love a little danger mixed in with their fun? Now that we have a bunch of steel, we can build a smelter. How nice is that? The dim glow of a noble smelter. It brings me great comfort indeed. Each slag nets us 15 steel, plus we can smash apart some of these dead mechs for extra if we need it. And with the recycled steel, we'll build a battery to capture any residual energy. And we can also get another windmill going as well. So over the past couple of days, I've gone through and redesigned our entire base. I'm still adding and moving some other stuff around, but this is the overall look of it, at least until I change my mind again. I mainly want it to center our bedrooms in one area. That way I can climate control them more easily, and it makes it easier to add another layer of walls to hopefully stave off the cold. It might be a pleasant 9 degrees out right now, but as we've already learned, December gets insanely cold. The study down here is a cozy little nook, isn't it? So cozy, in fact, that I want to make it its own little room. That way it's a better place to research and read without all the distractions and hustle and bustle of the main room up there. We also gave Flossie and Icecubone the biggest room because, well, they're having a baby, and that baby's going to need a crib and some other stuff, so it only felt right. We also have enough materials to build a solar panel, and we can fit it nicely outside right underneath the windmills without blocking them. Since it's bright for over half of the year here, we should get some really good value out of it. Oh, and it's time to rejoice. The baby is on its way. Icecubone will quickly have to build another heater, and this should hopefully stabilize the temperature enough. Alright, good. It looks like we're hovering in the 50s now. That should be plenty warm enough. Okay, everyone will pretty much rest until the time has come for the baby to fully come out. That's a weird way of saying a delivery. And now it's time to begin the childbirthing ceremony. God, that sounds so cryptic. It's like we're in a weird Iceberg cult or something. We're about to deliver our firstborn to the White Walkers or something like that. Here they wait patiently, all of them just staring on silently at Flossie. And she's just screaming her head off. Oh, there she is, yes. Little Jackal is born. I'm not the biggest fan of that name, to be honest, so I don't know, we'll have to make it something a bit more unique. After a little bit of deliberation, I decided we'll call her Octavia. And her nickname will be O for short. That shouldn't be too hard to remember. As is tradition, whenever there's a big event, we celebrate with a hunt. As it so happens, a polar bear has wandered into the area, so yeah, perfect timing. We'll have Icecubone equip this rolling block rifle, which, based on the description, sounds a lot like an elephant gun. If that's the case, this bear shouldn't be too much of an issue. We'll just keep a good, respectable distance between him and the bear. Okay, nice shot there. And another. And now the bear is fleeing. Hopefully it'll stay on the map. It would be really unfortunate if it ran off. In a surprising turn of events, the polar bear has decided to take a nap. Great, keep doing that. Icecubone will line up his next shot over here. And now it's just wandering around the water. It shouldn't be long now. Okay, we've angered it, but it doesn't really matter. And there, another successful celebratory hunt. Icecubone seems to really enjoy those. And a drifter wants to join. Bundy Volkov Hush. I don't think there has ever been a better serial killer name than that. He's not that great of a fighter, but he does have some fishing upside with his passion for animals. You know what? We'll give him a shot. The group will just need to keep a close eye on him until he can prove himself trustworthy. Well, who knew? Hush seems to be getting along swimmingly with everyone. He's even wearing a wolf hood and fishing. So he's fitting in pretty well. This guy might be a keeper. Alright, now we have a herd of polar bears passing through. Wait, is it a herd? Oh, okay, so it's either a pack or a sleuth of bears. Well, I kind of like that. A sleuth of bears? Sounds mysterious. Unfortunately for this sleuth of bears, when this much food and fur passes by, you can't let that opportunity go to waste. And so Icecubone goes back out on the hunt. Hopefully he doesn't aggro all of them on him at once. That would be bad. But it's a risk we're willing to take. Alright, good. They haven't noticed him yet. Oh, nice. He killed one of them. Ah, okay. They've spotted him. Time to go. Hurry, everyone. Get inside. Maybe we can spare some of our traps if we use the side door to our advantage. Bears are pretty dumb, so we should be able to trick them. There we go. So that bear hit a trap and is now running out for Cat on the side door. Icecubone, you come out here and back Cat up. The rest of you will stand at the ready, just in case. Yes, Icecubone shot down another. And I'm so glad we fished up that gun link. And this bear seems to be fleeing? Ah, never mind, it's turning back around. And it seems to be using the walls for cover. It's a clever bear. Good, it dropped next to its friend. The last one got away, but that's fine. There's plenty of bear here for all of us. Ah, look at this nice little moment here. Icecubone's walking around with his little girl in his arms. I bet he didn't see this coming when he first got stranded on an iceberg, huh? And that's where we're going to call it for today. I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for watching. Sorry about the lack of uploads lately. It got really hectic at work there, and I got pretty sick on top of it. Not a good combination for producing videos at a sustainable rate. But we're all good now. I got caught up on the editing side, so the next episode is dropping in a few days. So keep an eye out for that. For now, I'm Lore Harbor, and I'll see you on the next one. Welcome back. We've been waiting for you. When you're busy surviving in a relentless wasteland of cold, it's easy to get distracted from what's most important: family. You wouldn't be where you are now if it wasn't for those who helped you along the way. That's why you must choose carefully who you surround yourself with. And as it just so happens, our friends here find themselves once again surrounded by enemies. And after nearly another month of peace, the calm has been disturbed by the all too familiar sound of mechanoids crashing nearby. We won't disturb them for now. In fact, we might just be able to stay in a weird stalemate with them forever. Or until a trader or some raiders come by and take care of the problem for us. Over the past week or so, I've been laying out a nice spot here for our indoor growing area. I've already built a sun lamp here. Now I'll be able to plant rice in our hydroponics basins. It might not be the most efficient layout, but it's a good place to start. We also got a bit more steel, so we can use that to secure our outdoor energy farm, which will prevent intruders from easily destroying our power source, and also, I don't know, it just looks like a nice addition to the settlement overall. Alert, people, alert! We have a traitor among us. Hush has grown hostile. See, I knew I didn't like him. Luckily, he's really dumb. He turned coat on us while hauling stuff in the middle of the ocean. He couldn't have picked a worse time to betray us. Unfortunately, Reaper is going through a mental break nearby, so he might get hurt. We'll send Tony and Cat out there. They should be able to deal with this. Maybe Reaper's big self can draw some of Hush's attention away from the ladies. There we go. We'll just keep hiding behind the big man, and just a bit more. Wow, this coup attempt is going really poorly for Hush. It just shows how incompetent he really is. Okay, and now we'll strike. Tear him apart, ladies. Alright, he shot Tony, but Tony pulled him in and cut his head off. Oh crap, I forgot. Hush can come back to life. There, now they're dead a second time. And yet they rise again. I feel like I'm fighting a Resident Evil boss, just going through different forms of the same bad guy. How many times must I teach you this lesson? I love how they did a twin punch move to take them down. There, it's done. Hush has been silenced once and for all. Reaper is a beast. The man is in his late 70s, and he's just binging on energy drinks. That's like the classic old school tough guy right there. The deadly mech cluster is still to our north, but we seem to have a shared understanding. We don't infringe on each other's territory, and things just kind of work out that way. From afar, it kind of looks like a cool expansion to our base. A war merchant from the Bandy Coalition has arrived, and the cool part is the huntsman here is Icecubone's brother. After all these years, someone has finally come looking for him. Oh god, they're going to upset our mech neighbors. Oh no, yeah, this is going very poorly for them. Alright, Tony and Cat will be the first to help out here. They're doing a pretty bang-up job. And, oh, wait, no. Oh, God. Wait, Tony isn't dead? Wow, she's somehow alive. Okay, that turret blew up way faster than I thought it would. She has only 3 hours to live. Okay, Flossie's going to perform some emergency field surgery. We all know she's great at that. Hopefully it'll be enough to stabilize her. The remaining survivors of the coalition have fled. Poor Icecubone never even got a chance to say hi to his brother. It's tragic. And as a result, he's going to use the Thrombo Horn to destroy this blasted machine once and for all. That's it. Take out your anger on it. Let the hate flow through you. Tony has caught an infection, but it's okay. Reaper has returned from his mental break, and he's patching her up nicely. Alright, things have taken a real bad downturn here. Tony has picked up another infection, this time on her torso. And that's another solid 10 from Reaper, so hopefully she's going to be okay. Alright, things are looking bleak. Tony's picked up yet another infection. That's the third one over just this day. And her infection is right now about 1% ahead of her immunity. This is going to be a real nail-biter here. Come on, pull through. Pull through. Ah, damn. Alright. Tony's gone. That one hurts. Like the great Dr. Seuss once said, sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. When it comes to Tony, I feel that strongly resonates with everyone in the colony. Tony wasn't with us since the beginning, but she became a great friend and family. And at least she got to hold little O, at least once. So she got to experience that joy as well. And we lost one of our wolf pack today. In honor of our fallen friend, we're going to make a separate grave for her, this one closer to home, and we'll dig it right at her favorite fishing spot. It only seems right. The group's getting together to say their final goodbyes. Icecubone's going to lead the funeral. He talks about the nobility of sacrifice, death, and absent friends. And hey, that's a nice sound. The funeral was good, and everyone will get a mood boost for the next 6 days. And even in death, Tony is still improving our lives. So big surprise, we're facing yet another problem that I was not prepared for. We have a lot of meals, but due to my flawed base setup, it's too warm in the kitchen, and even with the door closed, the food is still spoiling. I would set up a proper fridge, but I just don't have enough building material to do so. So for now, I'm going to set up a vent over here with the door, and hopefully we'll be able to control the temperature a bit more this way. And a hearth tender named Finn wants to join our colony. The last few colonists we've had have been hit or miss. So I don't know if Finn's fully prepared for what he's walking into here, but either way, we'll check him out. Let's check out his stats. He's an undergrounder, asexual, who's super passionate about cooking, and he has passions in plants, crafting, and art. Great. His skill set actually complements our group rather nicely. He's not much of a fighter, but he'll make for a great utility colonist. It's August 1st once again, this time marking our colony's 3-year anniversary. Oh nice, and the gods have gifted us with a compacted machinery meteor. As cool as that is, honestly I wish it was something a bit more mundane, like steel or slate or something like that. Something I could build with. We already have a healthy supply of components, and even advanced ones too, so we really didn't need more, but hey, I'll always take it. I'll always take it. So for a few days now, we've been collecting the weapons, scrap, and other supplies from the Mech Hive battleground in the north, and I've used the steel to create a new kitchen area in the northwest here. This should keep the food nice and cold without the need for a proper fridge for now. The base is starting to look rather unique. It's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I consider myself a terrible designer, but I'm liking the organic way this is kind of growing out into its own thing. Oh yeah, we also made a biofuel refiner. This will provide us with precious chem fuel. Ideally, once the chem fuel generator is made, we can grow rice all the time. I don't know what's going on down here, but Flossie is puking and breastfeeding at the same time. It's probably best we just leave her to that. Good luck with that, Flossie. A group of 10 shamblers are intent on attacking our colony. It seems they're going to be flanking us, and they have a gore hulk with them. Great. And check out this cool little zombie. They're the Shambler King. Wow. King Hailsham. That's a badass name for a little zombie kid. I feel like there needs to be a series about them. The Zombie King. We're going to need to navigate this one carefully. Let's send Reaper to stand up here in the doorway. Maybe he'll pull a few of them towards the traps. Finn's not a good shot, so we'll give him the double barrel shotgun. And he and Icecubone will go join Reaper in the hallway. And the Shamblers have decided to make themselves a door in our wall. Oh, that one hit one trap and the other, and see, the traps really don't do much damage. Okay, Icecubone's in a bit of a precarious situation. Finn might accidentally shoot our friends in the head, so let's get him to move. Cat and Icecubone will hold the hallway here. They're doing a pretty good job with that armor. And Reaper just did a cool smash with his hammer to finish the fight. Wow. Honestly, I'm impressed. Good. Wait, hold on. Where's the other ones at? Oh god. Oh god. They're going after the baby. They're breaking into the bedroom. All right, everyone get down there. We need to save the baby. Everyone over here on the outside. Okay, all right. We got to get the baby out of here. Flossie, go save O. Hurry. Oh, all right. One wall is down. There's only one really bad layer of ice between the baby and certain death. Come on, Flossie, get in there. Good, we're pulling their attention back up to us now. Finn, we're going to have you stand there. We'll create a little wall around you. Icecubone, we'll have you attack this one sneaking there. Oh no, Icecubone just pulled the Gore Hulk. Okay, let's send Cat to help him out. Finn, you concentrate on these guys to the south. Flossie, go hide in the growing room with O. Cat is a beast. She just downed the Gore Hulk on her own. There goes Icecubone with another really cool assassination. And good. Wow. Okay, only one of them left. The little one that tried to eat the baby. I feel like this one's personal. So we'll let Icecubone lead the attack on this one. And we'll let Cat also assist. For the baby. For the baby. Alright, that takes care of that. Another victory. And there's Flossie and O standing safe and sound. In many ways, we are truly fighting for the future of our colony. If anything, this battle shows just how vulnerable we truly are against a determined foe. Ice walls barely provide us any protection. Oh, I forgot to mention too, one of the main reasons I wanted to grow fiber corn was to get the wood needed to build this awesome sushi table. So let's go ahead and have our awesome chef here, Finn, show you how it's done. Basically, you want to combine some raw fish and rice And then boom, you've got yourself some Norimaki. Since some of the surface ice has been melting and then refreezing, new ice chunks have formed. Hardy, solid chunks of ice that we can now use to craft more icy blocks. Wow, okay, O is 3 years old already. I keep forgetting how fast time goes for kids. She's now considered a child. She can do various types of work and recreational activities, and needs child's clothes. Ah, look at her, taking her first steps. She's wearing a little pink wolf hat. She looks so small, she can barely look over the meal she's carrying. That's too much cuteness. From the side, she just looks like a pink wolf with food in its mouth. There she goes, eating her first solid meal. What a monumental day this is. I really want her to turn out to be an awesome colonist, someone who is the shining future for our people. So she's going to need a proper education in order to achieve that. We can use the research room as a school area too. We'll just have to move some things around. There we go. It might be a bit cramped, but it'll get the job done. That looks like a productive little area. There's O again, now out on her first nature run. Just ignore all that stuff on the ground, kid. God, it's so dark. So the last few days here have been very family themed. First, Cat and Icecubone got into another family feud, pummeling each other atop the rice. Icecubone had viciously insulted her abilities, and that drove Cat into a rage. Not too worried about it though. Things have been going really well for the most part, and this just seems to be some tempers flaring up. At some point, Reapa's son Orange visited us from the Banny Coalition, which made the old man very happy. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay, and if we were to do something crazy like kidnap him, well, that would anger Banny very much, and we can't afford to insult one of the few groups who actually visits and trades with us. Speaking of which, the Banny Coalition arrived, and Cat's sister was one of their troops. Wow, we've got a lot of family over there in Banny. You'd think they'd help us out a bit more. They have these really cool woolly bats on them, which can be sheared for warm wool. So we bought 2 of them, and hopefully they'll make more. See, it's still family themed. Oh, and a lady named Ayla crashed down from the sky. She really liked it here, so she decided to join us. She's going to be a fine addition to our colony. She's a natural with animals and has decent skills in other places. But more importantly, she's in her 20s, which makes her close to Cat's age. Finally, she'll have a friend. Ayla is also wearing a wolf's hood. Now all she has to do is some fishing to prove that she's really part of the pack. Unfortunately, the family fun is being interrupted by a pack of man-hunting wolves. Ha, the bad wolf pack is attacking our wolf pack. It's kind of funny. Thankfully, the shaman merchants are still outside, so I think we could just sit this one out and let nature take its course. It's like I'm watching the riders of Rohan charging towards the orcs. These poor people have no idea what's coming. And the wolf war has begun. It's a bloody brawl out here on the ice. I'm so glad we're not out there. This guy's like an orc, swinging this giant club around. Oh, and now they're dead. I really thought it would be an easy victory for our visitors here. The merchants lost a man, and a few others are pretty banged up. As Dom Toretto once said, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Their healer Hakuja is fatally injured. Yeah, we're gonna need to save her. We need to repay the Banny people for defending our home. We're out of medicine, but she's in great hands with Flossie. Don't worry, she's really great with field surgery. And there goes little O doing her part. Look how respectfully she's burying their dead. And for some reason, Reapa has gone berserk. It appears to be due to intense pain from food poisoning. And one of the visitors just shot him down. Just casually dropped him with an arrow. That's one way to end a mental state. It's not a serious wound either. That was by far the best outcome that could have happened. And the family activities have picked right back up. Flossie is now teaching O how to clean the blood off the ice. And Icecubone is teaching her the fundamentals of melee combat. We've also started the giant undertaking of building a western wall for our settlements, one that will encompass our little pond and some of the surrounding area. I think it'll look pretty cool once it's done. There's only one way that'll ever be completed. Just like Dom Toretto always said, family. And that's where we're going to end today's video. Thank you all again for being in the family on my Iceberg. The next episode is dropping in a few days, so be sure to check that out as well. Until then, I'm Lore Harbor. Take care, my friends. Even in the coldest region of the world, life can still flourish. What was once a humble fishing hut has now blossomed into a thriving settlement. Our walls may be nothing more than fragile ice, but most raiders don't seem to notice, and more importantly, it keeps the oppressive cold at bay. But it's not the strength of our walls that define us, it's what they represent. Security, warmth, and a hope for the future. And luckily for us, we have great people to construct these icy barriers. Kat's grown into quite the builder herself. Look how masterfully she builds these ice walls, enhancing the security of our people. Man, we've really come far. What was once a little speck on an iceberg has now grown into a massive structure. Now we look like a shady pharmaceutical lab, experimenting with impunity up here in the Arctic. So while we're waiting to get more steel, I went ahead and built some of these icy planters. The growth rate isn't as good as the hydroponics basins, but they're still useful in this situation. This might not be the most efficient setup, but I think it looks cool. And since winter's around the corner, I've decided to build a roof over the outside plaza area thing we have going on here. Think of it kind of like hibernation. We'll put a roof on during the winter and take it off during the warmer months. We'll need to test it out. There's this little open strip in the ceiling still, so I'll need to create some wall supports in the middle. But we'll need something in the pond as well for this last little spot. And you know what we'll do? That's right, we're gonna build some pontoon bridges, just like I used in the Stranded video, or as I like to call them, raft bridges. And there's the first raft bridge. Oh man, brings back a lot of memories. And Kat will finish building a post out here to support the center of the roof. Great, there we go. That looks nice. Alright, now we got more mechs attacking. There's been so many assaults on us, it's just starting to become a footnote at this point. It feels more secure here than it ever has, but in truth we really don't have much in the way of defense outside of these 3 icy traps and the weapons that we carry. So we'll need to be careful. I could make more traps out of our ice, but they don't really do any damage at all. They act more as minor obstacles than anything else. And even O is arming herself, just in case. We gotta start her young. The mechs have begun their assault. I've already sent Ayla and Finn out ahead. Ayla has a hunting rifle, so she should be able to keep a safe distance and get a couple shots off. And unfortunately, she missed every single shot. Alright, we'll have her retreat back into the corridor with the fellas here, and hopefully bait the robots into the traps. Finn's going to take a couple shots with his plasma SMG, and he just keeps missing 2. Alright, both of you just get back inside. You literally contributed nothing. Icecubone will remain out here to guard the rear. The leader always protects his people. Okay, he's dragging one in, but there you go. You see that, everyone? That's how you kill mechs. He knocked the plasteel right out of it. Damn, Finn just got dropped. Crap, Reapa's down too. Oh hey, of course, our very last trap comes in handy. Alright, let's assess things quick. Finn should be fine, he's got 8 hours to live. And Reapa, alright, Reapa only has 2 hours. Flossie, where's Flossie? We need field surgery. Okay, Flossie is getting fired on. She's in a very precarious situation, but we need to risk it in order to save Reapa. Go, Icecubone. Protect your wife. Yes. Alright, wow, that was intense. Okay, let's check on Icecubone quick. And, oh, okay, he's fine. He got shot in the head a little bit, but it's barely a scratch. Let's also get a status report on Reapa here. He now has 6 hours to live. Flossie has come up big for us once again. We'll just transport him to a bed and treat his wounds. And just a few minutes after saving a man's life in the middle of a gunfight, Flossie's back in the study room teaching O some social skills. The examples so far are scimitars and naughty words. Oh, that's good. That's too good. It seems our woolly bats aren't as woolly as I thought. Turns out they can endure insane heat temperatures, but they're not so great in the cold. Alright, so we're going to need to get these guys somewhere warm. The generator room here seems like a decent spot. It's dark and much warmer than the outdoors thanks to the heat from the biofuel generator. So yeah, that'll be a decent spot. Yeah, see, that's better. Their wounds are already healing. We can move them outside later on the year when it's not in the -40s. Oh yeah, and turns out the western area does not make for a great room. It actually got a lot colder inside than it was outside. so I decided to open it back up and give them some much needed exposure to the sun. And another migration of penguins is passing by, giving us an opportunity to tame some of these adorable birds. Flossie and Icecubone will each give it a shot. Nice. Flossie has successfully tamed hers. Now it all comes down to you, Icecubone. He does have inspired taming, so he should be... Ah, yep, there we go. Wonderful. We've got some new friends. And they seem to enjoy sleeping out on the ice. Look how cute they are. So we're currently suffering through a volcanic winter. It's negative 76 degrees out. How do the majestic penguins manage such amazing feats of toughness? The only solution for extreme cold is extreme heat. Who cares if our electric bill is going to be outrageous? We need the rice to survive. And the people too. Yes, of course. Now, being that it's so cold, we're going to prevent people from coming through this door. We can't risk our crops getting colder. You know what? We'll go ahead and block off all of these doors too. Honestly, this whole room needs a redesign. I didn't consider how cold it would get in here, even with the heaters. So I'm going to relocate one of the bedrooms up here and create a temporary walkway down there. Who knows? Maybe we'll make this a permanent one. The Alfs and mechs have come to destroy us. And of course, we're being raided right after I made a hole on the outside wall. This can get ugly. Luckily, they're going to wait a bit before attacking, which will at least give us a chance to patch up that hole in the wall. And you want to see a whole lot of cuteness before we fight? Look, here's O reading a book, and she's doing so next to some sleeping penguins. Yeah, you can't handle that, can you? It's too much adorableness. To arms, people. The mech assault has begun. Ayla will peek out first to sneak in some early long shots. And Icecubone will go out ahead too, just in case. Alright, he's pulling one of them in. Okay, good. Well, at least he executed it. Shoot, I forgot to open that door. Ha! Some would call it a trap door. Okay, so now Icecubone just has to get back inside. Hopefully this won't be terrible. And we'll have him just go right here, and he should be okay. Oh wow, Icecubone just pulled it onto the trap and knocked it down. Great. Get back in the hallway, even further down. Keep shooting at them. Buy us some time. Ayla just got hit really bad. Let's go ahead and get you in the growing room. Run in the growing room. Finn, keep shooting. Doing great, man. Alright, you're hit too. Not too bad. This could be worse. Alright, Finn, you get inside. Icecubone, you stand there. You're not too badly hurt. You just keep holding that door. Cat will assist you here. Now, Cat doesn't have armor on, so hopefully they won't target her. Alright, good. Wow, we're doing some really good work here with these thrombohorns. And that looks like it's it. Another group of mechs has been defeated. We're actually getting pretty good at killing these things. Hold on. Ayla's right arm was shot off? Wait, was she always missing her arm? Or did she lose it in a battle before? Huh. Because if that just happened, I think she'd be a lot more mentally upset. We'll have to get her like a bionic arm or something like that at some point. So I went ahead and started redesigning most of the base yet again. I have it kind of planned out in my head. So down here will be the entrance into the complex. And this big area down here will be used for like a kitchen and fridge combination type of room. And this space will be used for additional storage or something like that. I haven't figured that part out. But this smaller area, the former bedroom, we're going to turn into a dining room or some kind of guest room or something like that. And we even managed to keep the stream flowing between the buildings in a kind of cool way. I love the natural aesthetic of it all. Really starting to take on an ice fortress type of vibe. I really like that. With all this change going on, Kat felt the need to visit Tony's grave. They may have had some differences, but at the end of the day, they were like family. Thankfully, her and Icecubone seem to be getting along much better now, and they definitely work well together, too. Like, look, they're building the crap out of this wall. It might be negative 69 degrees and snowing really hard out, but inside it's cozy and warm, and there's plenty of life to be found. We'll add some pontoon bridges here, too, so we can build walls on them. Or maybe we'll keep it like that. That kind of looks like a cool little fishing pier or something. And even with just one arm, Ayla is still an amazing farmer. Her and Finn have both turned out to be great colonists. They add a lot to our group in terms of utility, even though they're not good fighters. And some more robots have arrived to fight us, as is the norm around here. But that's good news because we're actually starting to run short on steel. So, well, this would be a great way for us to get some more. And maybe they'll come down here so we could try out our new entryway. And the mechs are funneling right down here over the sandbags as planned. And we're just destroying them. They're destroying us too, though, to be fair. This is a vicious battle. Look at all this. Alright, we got to get the penguin out of there. Why is the penguin there? They just cut out Ayla's eye. Her left eye. Oh, God. Alright, we really need to get her some help. Okay, Ayla, just lie down right here. Don't worry, it's not that bad. Just a scratch. And she's literally giving up so much for our colony. What makes it worse is that she hardly seems bothered by her horrible injuries. It's almost like she's happy to have lost a leg, an eye, and a toe. She did it for the cause, man. She did it for the cause. Some new traders have arrived. I'm sure they won't stay long with this current weather, but still, we can at least sell some of our junk, and what we really need right now is medicine. Yeah, see, they're already leaving. Roxos is in bad shape here. We might actually need to rescue this guy. Yeah, he just fell. Oh, alright, he's actually dead. Well, I thought we'd have a chance to save him, but he did leave us some pemmican and silver, though. Oh, and a book. We're being visited by the Broken Dominion. They look pretty fierce. They have a don't mess with me kind of aura about them. I can't quite explain it. It's just an impressive group of people. And Flossie will gift them all of her gold. It isn't much, but it feels like more of a burden than anything. Oh hey, and Flossie was just given the title of freeholder. Oh, these people must really like gold. Finn is our official tailor. He just made a parka with some of the bat wool. And I gotta say, these things are incredible. This parka is poor quality and it still gives 97 cold protection. Just keep doing that, Finn. Everyone likes it when you make your warm parkas. And I think that's where we're going to end today's video. For a while there, it felt like we were crawling, but now our colony is off and running. I want to thank you for being my bat wool parka on a cold winter's day. The next video is coming soon, so hopefully I'll see you there. Until then, I'm Lore Harbor. Take care, my friends. When the cold, dark world bears down upon you, turn inward and seek that ember which has never faded. It's a warm, guiding light that we all feel deep within. A fine blade that has been hammered and sharpened by every challenge you've overcome. It's the very essence of you. Only in embracing that ember will you find the resolve to weather that frigid storm once more. You will rise like a phoenix, thankful for the chance to conquer the cold which you once feared. Icy demons hold no sway over those filled with fiery passion, nor can the howling winds tumble that which is made of determined stone. Oh hey, sorry, I was getting a bit carried away there. Welcome back to Paradise on Ice, our luxurious home filled with all the amenities one could ever ask for. We have luscious crops, delicious sushi, leisure activities, and adorable penguins and bats that you could pet to your heart's content. Think of our settlement like a mobile trading hub which floats around on a frozen ocean, here to barter with you whenever you need, or whenever you're desperate enough to find us. I love seeing this parade of guests filtering into our pond area. It looks kind of chaotic, but it has a unique charm to it, doesn't it? We'll sell a bunch of our clothes and some drugs too. That'll free up shelf space for all this new awesome stuff. The new growing room is pretty much complete as well. This one has been set up to optimize the space, unlike the chaotic one over here. Now we can add some more hydroponics basins. And I'll add a new chem fuel generator too, so we stay ahead of our power demands. Another melee lesson for O, and Cat and Icecubone are now considered friends. Finally, no more family feuds. And who knew at the start of the journey that a little bit of fishing could take us this far? Look how great everything is. Finn is cooking in a kitchen that would make Chef Ramsay proud. We eat all the sushi we want and get a great mood boost from it. We're also able to extract chem fuel from fish and crops, which in turn powers our biofuel generators, which grows crops for us to eat and makes fuel. We really have come full circle. And our success out here on the ice seems to be attracting traders a bit more often. And this one has brought us something incredible. Pumpkin spice coffee? Absolutely. Oh, and they have arms. Not like weapons, but actual arms. We're in need of those. So great of you to have arms. The prosthetic one is a lot cheaper, but Ayla deserves the bionic one after everything she's done for us. We'll be taking that. I'll also be grabbing this flat screen TV. I've never used TVs in Rimworld before, so I'm curious to see how they'll like it. Wow, look at all this nice stuff we got. So fancy of us. For now, I'm going to turn this northern room into a triage, and we'll bring the nice medicine over here to prep for the surgery. Don't worry, Ayla. Pretty soon you'll have a fancy metal arm, just like Johnny Silverhand. We're also going to give you an eye patch, too. That'll make you look even cooler and more dangerous. I don't know why we need to install an eye patch like this, but we're going to do it anyway. I just imagine them stapling on our face. It's pretty messed up. Okay, it's surgery time. The penguins seem to be worried about her, and even our guests have joined us as well. I guess they want to see how well their merchandise works. Either that or they're surgical enthusiasts. Wonderful. Finn has successfully installed the arm, and he walked away so casually, like it was just another task on a list that he needed to check off. And now he's got the eye patch, the very same one he tailored for her. Now I did just realize she's a body purist, of course. So she's probably hating all these alterations we're making to her. But that's okay, I'm sure she'll appreciate them in time. There we go. Ayla looks good as new. Actually, she looks more like a proper pirate than anything, but still really cool. The only thing she's missing is her little left toe, but those aren't very common in the Arctic. Oh yeah, she definitely hates the modifications we made. She now is a -10 from being squeamish. Alright, to counter this, we're going to put her on a drug schedule. That way she can numb herself to how much she hates her new parts. Some Psychite tea and smoke leaf will turn that frown upside down. She might hate it, but Ayla is putting her new arm to great use. Look, she's way faster at planting now. And I bet she'll be a lot better at shooting, too. I didn't realize the whole time she's just shooting a rifle with one arm. No wonder she was whiffing all of her shots. You know, Icecubone must reflect on everything that's happened whenever he does a task like this. Just a few years ago, he was fishing out in the freezing cold, stuck alone on an iceberg, and now he's comfortably melting steel in a growing room. And oh, just turned 7. Happy birthday, kid. That means she's having another growth moment. We get to choose 3 skills for her to gain a passion in, and one of these traits, too. I feel like social makes a lot of sense, being that Flossie is a world master in it. So of course, that would just naturally rub off on her. Intellectual feels right because she's been receiving a great education ever since she was born. The last one is tricky. We don't need another melee fighter, but it fits the narrative since she's grown up around so many of them. And maybe she wants to become a great warrior like her father, or Tony, who she's heard so many stories about. As for a trait, martial artist pairs well, but so does nimble. Yeah, we're gonna go with nimble. And right on cue, there she is, getting another melee lesson from her father. And she's learning it at a much faster rate. And Icecubone's whipping up a nice chair by the TV. This will be considered the good chair, the one that, you know, our most distinguished guests get to sit at. Now you may be wondering, why did I build an air conditioning unit up here in the Arctic? Well, it's simple, really. It's a little too warm inside the kitchen during the summer months, and the air conditioning serves us 2 purposes. It keeps the kitchen consistently cool, and the heat from the exhaust makes for another great heater that keeps the rest of the complex cozy for us. So really, it's a win-win. The rest of our time is filled with boring yet relaxing tasks, like making smoke leaf, researching, and hunting migrating foxes. We've even learned how to make turrets, giving us a much needed boost to our defense. Finally, this home is feeling complete. Sure, I can build an orbital trade beacon, and in fact I should have a long time ago, but honestly, I just forgot to do it. But we can't sail off into the sunset just yet. Old man Reaper here has just had a heart attack. Let's get him somewhere warm. Icy pond water cannot be good for his body right now. Floss is going to give him the best of medicine. That's right, old timer. You get to enjoy the wonderful bliss of Glitter World medicine. There we go. He's back up and at him, just like that. He wants to go fishing, but we'll make him rest up here. Can't be putting too much stress on that heart right now. We're just gonna have to keep throwing Glitter World medicine at that heart of his. Actually, I don't think it's working. Damn, Reaper. Can't lose you too, man. You're kind of like O's grandpa. Wait, I forgot. We have some of this Resurrector mech serum we've been fishing up. I honestly completely forgot to use this on Tony. Well, it's worth a shot. Icecubone has taken it upon himself to administer it. Come on, Reaper, breathe. Breathe, man. Hey, there he is. Good as new. You thought you could leave us just like that? Don't worry, Reaper. We'll find you a new heart. In fact, we'll slowly replace all your old parts with new ones. You'll see. You could stay alive forever up here. But that'll be for another adventure. It's been several years since Icecubone was sent adrift on this iceberg, armed with nothing more than a magical fishing pole and a wooden spear. He fought against the merciless cold, battled countless foes, and overcame the toughest opponent of all, loneliness. When you're alone and cold, sometimes the only thing that can pull you through is pure determination and focus. Icecubone threw himself into fishing, allowing the passion of that pole to block out all the negative thoughts. He could have felt sorry for himself, and could have blamed the world for cursing him. But instead, he put his head down and went to work. Days turned into months, and months into years. Every minute became another tiny step along the frozen road of progress. He learned, adapted, fought, and built. And now, he has a beautiful family and amazing friends as a result. The icy ground on which he slept is now a cozy bed shared with his amazing wife. The child he never thought he can have is now real, and she's more amazing than he could have ever imagined. We've gained many friends, and lost some others. That cramped fishing hut has blossomed into a sprawling complex with an indoor garden, turret guns, and a flat-screen TV. There's even penguins and bats. We have all that we can ever want, and there's a bright future ahead of us. No matter where our iceberg drifts next, we'll be ready. For there are many adventures to be had on the frozen sea, and many, many more friends to meet. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching this series, and I hope you enjoyed it. I still can't believe the channel is nearing 7,000 subscribers. Just a few short months ago, there was only like 300. It's crazy. I'm blown away by all of your amazing support. Truly, thank you. I'm currently working on other Rimworld stories and ideas for some other games as well, so stay tuned for more. Until then, I'm Lore Harbor. Take care, my friends.